Are my judges ready?
Yes.
How many of you have ever been around someone that was abused? Well, if you have, you would notice how they, at the slightest confrontation, they seem to cower away. They might repeatedly apologize in another room and try to avoid everything, even the slightest raise of voice. Or others, they might flip a switch and they might try fighting back, whether this be verbally or even physically. Good evening. My name is Karina Kazakoff, and today I will be giving you a presentation about domestic abuse. So abuse happens here quite often, and it goes unreported a lot of times. And this could be because I will go and harm your family. Or it could be because there are children in the household. And even though the children need to be taken away from this, the person being abused feels that the children will be safer in their care. Another reason for this is because I knew someone that had been abused. She lived in Florida and she had 3 children. Whenever it first started off, it was mainly mental, and he even started threatening her 3 children. So domestic abuse is any repeated intentional pattern of emotional, physical, or economic abuse. Emotional can be them talking down on you. Physical abuse is, of course, someone hitting you. And then economic abuse can be controlling money in the relationship, controlling if you even get to work, or controlling if you ever get to see your friends and family. On domestic abuse, it was more of a what's your business is yours and what's mine is mine. And then in the 80s, it became more popular, it started showing up in courts. And it was also found in the 80s that there were a lot of southern states that still protected men that abused their wives. And about 90 or 2002, the act again, and this helps fund hotlines and shelters and things like this to help women get away. So one form of abuse is dating violence. Dating violence usually peaks around the age from anywhere to 12 to 25. And dating violence, there is economic abuse, there is physical abuse, emotional abuse, and then sexual abuse. First two abuses, of course, whenever one partner does something to the other that was not consensual. Another form of abuse is marital rape. This also goes unreported a lot of time because not only was your body violated, but also someone that you love and trusted violated you. And it has been known that marital rape has longer lasting effects than a stranger rape case. PTSD. As they go on to another relationship, they may constantly think about, well, if I do this, then this person may attack me, or they may constantly have nightmares or fears about the other person, their new partner abusing them. Depression and suicide can also be correlated with domestic abuse. There was a study done with about 101 people. There were 25 males, and it was found that self-forgiveness is a big part in healing from a domestic abuse relationship. The first step is to forgive yourself and realize this was not your fault. In no way, shape, or form would this ever be anyone's fault, except the person abusing them. And also, you later have to forgive your abuser. Even though this may be hard, if you cannot forgive your abuser, then you won't move from this. You'll just keep hanging on to this, and that's not good for you or for anyone around you. So, a lot of use cases have children in the home. And this also affects them because they notice when the mother gets nervous, around the abuser. They can see the tears or the blood or anything like that that the abuser can leave behind. And there's also the long-term effects for the children, which can be them becoming abusive themselves because they just think it's normal in a relationship. They've seen it happen so much. Well, this is what I'm supposed to do. Or they can become depressed and suicidal themselves as they get older, or become addicted to drugs and alcohol. So the way that my research paper tied in with my product was because I worked 16 hours at Christo's house. And my research paper was, of course, about the effects of abuse. And I was able to see that firsthand working at Christo's house. So my product, I wanted to spread awareness for domestic violence because, as I said before, it's not really common around these parts. It's mainly just kind of what's your business is yours and what's mine is mine. And I ended up working 16 hours at Christo's house, and I also collected donations. I put the donations in 3 different churches, and I checked my donation boxes about once every 1 or 2 weeks. And then I also gave a slideshow to the sophomore health class about domestic abuse. So my challenges, I don't consider myself a very social person, but I noticed as I started working more at Christo's house, it was hard for me to be able to hang out with my friends or family and also get more schoolwork done that I had to do. And my anxiety was also a big issue, especially for the presentation part. I'm not good with public speaking, as you can probably tell, but I was very proud of myself after I was able to do it. Because even though my presentation may not have been as great, I got up in front of people that I didn't even know and was able to speak. These are some of the things that I collected. I collected a lot of hygiene products, as you can see. I also collected things like toiletry and even some children's clothes. So in the beginning, I told the story of my friend, and she finally told her parents about what was going on with her because she was so ashamed of what was happening. She just didn't want to tell anyone. So she finally told someone, and she got back here with her family. And now she's married again, and her and her 3 kids are living a life that they thought that they'd never be able to have. As a community, we all need to come together and bring more awareness to this subject. Thank you. Do my judges have any questions?
What impacted you the most while you volunteered at Christo's house?
Seeing the women and the children there.
In what way?
In a way that we just all need to come together and bring more awareness to this. That way things like this won't happen, and maybe we won't need shelters as often as we do need them.
I read in your paper something about the storage units. You helped with those?
Yes, I organize storage units.
Okay, so when they go there, they actually bring some of their belongings and they're allowed to store them?
No, it's actually donations.
Oh, okay.
From just people or churches. A lot of times whenever the women leave, they try to leave at night. That way nobody notices and they aren't able to take a lot of their belongings. Because if they do, then the abuser will notice and try to find them.
So if they move on, then those donations can go to them, like to get reestablished somewhere? Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Karina.